Hi, I'm Miss O from Hamilton Middle School, and I teach art. And for today, we're going to be teaching a isolated shape drawing. For this lesson, all you need to do is find a nice, cozy corner or area in your house. In my house, I have this nice, cozy chair with a little throw blanket in the corner of my living room. So I decided to go ahead and use that as my subject matter. Once you have outlined everything, you are now ready to start the isolated shape drawing. An isolated shape means you pick a shape, a geometric shape. Could be a triangle, rectangular, circle, whatever one you prefer, and you are going to draw either one or two somewhere within this space. Whatever has been outlined with this shape will be what we put in color. For my shape, I'm going to go ahead and pick two triangles. I'm going to let one triangle be big and the other one be a little small. This will help give it some visual balance. If you would like to add more, that is more than up to you. Now that I have done this, I can now go ahead and start picking colors and breaking up the space within those tiny shapes. I think for my colors, I'm going to stick with more cool colors and using blues and purples to shade those spaces. And maybe a little bit of green. The pencils I am using are Prismacolor pencils. They give a lot of color in a very little bit of application. I like these because the colors are very vibrant and blendable, but you can use whatever colors or markers you have lying around the house. When I shade, I like to make sure I'm using a series of hard and soft pressure on my pencils to help create light and dark values. Values help give your drawing dimension and three-dimensional form. When you use values, you're really communicating the way light interacts with an object. So I'm really blending these colors to get light and dark blues. And for my highlight for these little spaces, I'm going to go ahead and use my Prismacolor to help create the blending in my lighter tones. And you can stick with the colors that you see in your photo, but it is not required. You can choose whatever colors you want. So as I am shading, I'm going from my light to dark colors and blending them out into one another. I'm not merely leaving it just blue, I'm adding different shades of blue. Now I have just finished shading the arm of my chair within the triangular shape, and I think to give this a little more dimension, I think I'm going to make my blanket different shades of green. Now, since I'm going off on my own in terms of color, I am going to go ahead and turn my phone off because I don't really need it, and just pick colors that stand out to me. This is going to give your drawing a little bit more personality and make it so you're not just copying exactly what you see, so you're able to be a little more creative with it too. And with my greens, I am pushing dark and light colors to give that blanket folds lots of dimension. And then I'm going to go in with a lighter green in my areas that I want to be lighter. Now where you have folds and creases is where you want to place your dark values. And where you have higher folds are where you will place your lighter values. To give this blanket a little more dimension, I'm going to go in some areas and add some white to give me my highlights. Creating a dark contrast in the values so we see folds and wrinkles. I'm now going in and adding cross-hatching to the little tassels. Gonna add a little texture in with my white. And make sure a little more blending is done in my shadows so they fade into the areas of the highlight. And then my blanket is done for this section. So now on the other side, I have a little bit more of the chair showing through, and I am gonna go ahead and make sure there is a shadow next to that blanket. And we're gonna shade this out into a lighter blue as we move out from where that blanket is. I am gonna add just a smidge of green into my blue because it is reflecting some of that color, and this is going to give it a little more dimension and make the blue really, really bright. Now for my legs, I think I want to create some contrast by going in and adding some oranges. That's going to complement really, really nicely to the blues and greens that are in the body of this triangle. And I am going to blend that orange with a little bit of yellow. Same with the back leg. And then to create some dimension on these legs so that they don't look flat, I'm going to just add a little bit of sienna brown right underneath each of the joints of the leg where the fabric from the base of my chair and the top part of the leg join, and that's going to give it some more dimension so it doesn't look flat. If you notice in my shading, I refrain from tinting and shading using black. That will flatten the color and make things look really muddy. So I try to use dark and light versions of each color. So I'm going from a lighter yellow to a darker yellow. And the way I'm darkening my yellow is by adding brown. The way I darkened my blue was going from lighter blues into darker blues and lighter greens into darker greens. If you use black, it just tends to look very, very muddy. Now for my ground and the brick, I'm probably going to go ahead and stick with the color palette that I have and probably play with the cool colors a bit more by tinting these spaces with some purple. And just like I did on the other ones, I'm using light and dark purples. And if you don't get as much contrast as you like with some of your colors, you can always add a little bit of blue to a section and then go back over it with the color that you're trying to blend it with, and that will help darken it. And again, I'm going in with my white to make sure I have a nice contrast between the two. And in my shape, I have a little gap here between my blanket and my brick, and I think to separate those colors, I'm just gonna go ahead and tint that little space in the wall with some yellow And that will kind of create some balance within this shape between the legs and the yellow being up there. For my ground, because I have purple up here, I'm going to go ahead and create the balance by putting some purple down here. The ground in my house isn't purple, so you can play with whatever colors you feel inspired by. And I'm starting with my light purple first, and then I will go in with my dark purples and add my shadow colors. I am going to very carefully place my shadow colors underneath areas of my chair so that it does not look like it is floating, but it is anchored to the ground. And just to darken up some of those shadows, I am going to add a little tinge of blue, just because I think the purple wasn't dark enough. Then I will blend all these out and it'll look nice and smooth, and then I'll add some white. And just kind of like how I had a gap between my blanket and my brick, I have a gap between my floor and my tile. I am also going to go ahead and just make that this yellow color to separate those two. We have the same thing occurring back here in the base of the chair. This is a gap in the structure where you can see back to the wall. I'm going to go ahead and make that also yellow. Now all I have to do on this shape is my rug, and for the rug, since I've repeated and mixed blues in and I've spaced out yellows, I'm going to go ahead and bring back my green so it is a nice balance of those colors. And then I'm adding a little white for my highlight, and this shape is now done. We are now ready to finish up our second shape, and for this one I'm going to go ahead and use some warm colors. So I'm going to go ahead and carry over these reds and oranges into my curtain, and I'm using the dark red and working into lighter shades of orange to create highlights and dimension. And then to tint these, I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of brown, just so it has some dimension. If you like to play with your blending, you could tint it with a little bit of blue and see what effect you get with that. But to keep it warm, I'm just going to use my brown. And then I'm going to add a little bit of white, just to brighten up some of that. Now all I have left is my wall, and I think for my wall, I am going to carry that blue back over, just so we have balanced it out. And we're going to blend all of that out at the edge with our white. And then once you are done, you can go ahead and start to clean up any fingerprints or smudges you've gotten on your paper while you were shading. This will prevent the image from looking dirty. If you want to, you can go in and shade your outlines in with pencil to create a heavily contrasted drawing, or you can leave it outlined, just like I am doing. And once you've done that, you are done. And now that we're done, here are some examples of my students' artwork. Thanks for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed this isolated shape drawing lesson.